what I think is
You don't have a problem with
I don't
that.
have a problem with that. That's not what the problem is.
Right.
The problem is this position was appointed in a closed executive session.
Right.
And when I'm elected, I promise that I will ensure that everything that can legally be discussed in an open meeting will be. And that's very important.
Yes.
Because that's what our democracy is based on. Openness and transparency.
Yes.
In my opinion, they gave away a $137,500 a year salary. Just gave it away without letting the people of Swansea, the taxpayers of Swansea, see, understand, and gain the credibility of Ms. Stanton. And that's not just a disservice to Ms. Stanton, it's a disservice to the taxpayers of Swansea. And like I said, when I'm elected, that will not happen.
Right. You called that transparency and openness, and it's also ethical to follow the rules the way they're supposed to be followed and make sure that the public is involved. And another thing you mentioned was getting the parents involved, getting the citizenry involved. Is there a way you can do that?
Well, going to the school committee meetings, and I realized that there's not a lot of parents who actually go to these meetings. It seems like they've shied away from it, and I'd like to do whatever I have to get parents back involved.
Maybe
Reach out
serve
to
coffee
them.
and donuts.
No.
They'll come.
Hopefully more important things than coffee and donuts will
That
be on the
helps.
table. But I want to encourage parents to get back involved. I don't think parent participation is at an all-time high at all. And we need to do things to get them back involved. I'd like to have some subcommittees of the school committee, and I'd like to get parents to participate in those subcommittees if they're interested in doing so.
Right, yes. You had mentioned some subcommittees maybe for the financial dealings of the school committee
Yes,
to
yes.
help out with the financial problems.
Yeah, like we spoke before, the Swansea School Department budget is about $17 million. It's $16.9 million. Really, Swansea residents spend about $23 million on education in Swansea, including Diamond Regional tuition and Bristol Aggie tuition. Not to mention the benefit packages and the health care benefits. That's a totally separate line item. So the $23 million plus the benefits plus insurance for our buildings, it's a lot of money.
Yes.
So what I would like to do is I like to appoint a advisory finance subcommittee with citizen representation to go through the budget and ask questions. And what I feel is the more people looking at the budget, the more eyes on it, the more lean the end result would be. And when I say lean, I don't mean cut programs. I mean eliminate as much wasteful spending as possible. And when I say wasteful spending, I don't necessarily mean that we're just throwing money away. I mean, there are areas that we may be able to save money. For instance, an energy audit. I think all of our schools need a real good energy audit. We need a new energy policy. With an energy policy, I think we could see extremely large, long-term savings.
How did you find out about the energy loss or the energy savings?
Well,
Do you hear the teachers talking or the administrators talking, or?
yeah, yes, I do. But more importantly, I've experienced. I actually, like I said before, and I continue to emphasize, I've been to Joseph Case High School within the past decade. So
yes.
I know what's going on here. We have our heating and ventilation system needs some serious work. Yeah. I actually came in here with our cable access coordinator on a Saturday night to fix one of the programs that were not running properly over the air, and I walked into the main lobby. It had to be 85 degrees. So I know firsthand that our heating and ventilating isn't up to par with the industry standard and is not working efficiently. And that's just one thing. There are many things like that, I feel, in the school department that need to be addressed.
Yeah. Well, I know, as I said, I don't live in Swansea. I live in Fall River, and I know that Fall River schools have problems with energy. And I work at BCC, and we have problems too. And it's not to say that we can eliminate these problems or they're easy to fix. But what we do need is people who care about these problems, people who are willing to take the time, analyze, research, and figure out what cost-effective way can we have to at least make some improvement, not just say, well, that's the way it is. Let's just go on with 90-degree weather inside.
Yeah.
These buildings can be very problematic. So let's talk a little bit about the advantage the Swansea people might have if they elect you over your opponent. Are there a couple of things that you could mention that you have to offer that she does not?
Well, I am going to work as hard as I can to accomplish as much as I can. And in my first year in office, I want to be able to say that I've accomplished, I want to be able to list my accomplishments. And it's something I don't think my opponent can do at this point in time. Like I said, I'm energetic, I have ideas, and I have a way to achieve those ideas. And unfortunately, I don't think my opponent has proven that over the past 6 years.
Okay, so you haven't been impressed by her record of achievement?
Unfortunately not.
Yeah, good. Now, as a school committee member, when you are elected, how will you work with the town selectman and the town administrator? Because the school committee doesn't work in isolation.
No. Well, for a long time, we haven't had joint board meetings. When I'm elected, I'm going to propose that we sit down with the Swansea Board of Selectmen and the Swansea School Committee, and we have a plan of going forward with our school department and our community. And that's very important. A plan is very important. And we need to make sure that we engage as many elected officials as possible in bringing Swansea schools forward in providing the very best education that we can possibly provide to the students of Swansea.
You had said I was very impressed that you even knew some of the people, some of the selectmen,
yes, I do.
And some of the administrators, and even some of the people on the school committee.
But I actually
tell me who was impressed you the most, or who you admire?
Well, like I said, when I was doing the Swansea Cable Access television on the camera, I got to know a lot of them from these type of interviews, and that's where it really all started. And I've just been impressed with our community. We're a very volunteer-based community. And
anyone in particular that you like to talk about? You mentioned Dr. Carreiro.
Well, Dr. Carreiro, he's a great example.
Dr. Carreiro, he has the same name as you.
No relation. We're not related. That's very important to know. We're not related. Dr. Carreiro, he was a teacher at the high school, and he was one of my professors at BCC. And he's helped me out a lot, and he's showed me by example what a school committee member should be.